one versus the other. About 5 years ago, the test transitioned from a paper-based standardized test to what we call a CAT test, which is a computer-based test. We say it's a computer-based test, but we say it's kind of with an asterisk because there's a lot of things you really have to manage when you really take this test. There's obviously the screen, the keyboard, the mouse, but there's also the graph paper. There's also the scratch paper, and I bring it up because it's kind of a weird concept. It's laminated, and you work with an indelible ink pen. It doesn't erase anything, and really kind of manage all these different things and really manage the graph paper. And it's a very weird feeling. It's laminated, so we really want you to get used to all these factors as soon as you can. It means taking multiple practice exams. Probably before you get into the exam, we'd hopefully take at least by 5 or 6 full-on CAT exams. But I bring it up because you're not just taking a computer-based test. There's a lot of other factors around you. You have to learn to manage them all. And I also bring up this graph paper with the indelible ink pen, saying it's really important that you get used to it. It does not write like normal paper. It does not write like a normal pen. We want you to get into sort of take the test taking, get ready to go. Boom, question number 1. Everything is very familiar with you. We don't want you sort of figuring out or focusing on sort of how weird the graph paper feels. At Manhattan Review, I think for $10, we sell a package of these graph papers and indelible ink pens. So if you don't have access to it, if you want to get access to it, contact Manhattan Review. We'll be able to sell you a package of them. This way, at least you get used to the familiarity of using this graph paper and managing all the different things when you're actually getting on the computer. The other thing is as a computer-based test, you have to answer one question before you move on to the next question. You cannot go back and forth. Once you answer a question and confirm it, that question is into your score, and you cannot go back and change it. So the reason that is important is really the test is adapted to your ability. You can really sort of tell how you're doing on the test because if your questions are getting harder, that means you're doing well. If the questions are getting easier, you're probably not doing well. So what happens is the test adapts to your ability. What happens with the scoring is the scoring really not only depends on the number of questions you get right, but the difficulty of the questions you get right, but also the numeric number of the questions you get right, meaning that not all questions are weighted equally. If you took an old paper-based standardized SAT score with a Scantron and a paper booklet, the old rule is that every question you get right counts for 1 point, and every question you get wrong counts for a negative point. It doesn't work that way. There's a very, very complex scoring algorithm in the GMAT, but really some standardized rules are the earlier questions in both the verbal and the quantitative part of the exam count a lot more than the latter questions. Okay, and once again, the test is adapted to your ability. So a easy question may not have the same weight as a difficult question. Say one person is on question 25 and it's a difficult question. That question probably will have a weight factor of 2 or 3. The second person is on question 25. It's an easy question. That question may have a weight factor of 1. So it's really kind of difficult to understand the scoring algorithm. But remember that the test is adaptive, and if you're doing well, the question's getting harder. If you're not doing well, the questions will get easier. Okay.